Hello again everyone, this is me Chinatsu. Just by making a few changes to your study approach, you will see a significant improvement in your English. You will be able to speak English someday. Don't give up. Welcome back to my YouTube channel guys. We're gonna focus on 3 areas today: vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. Today, I'm going to show you some tips on how to improve your English skills, especially speaking, by simply tweaking your study methods just a little bit. At the same time, I will show you some tips and tricks using some online resources such as ChatGPT and Google, so stay tuned until the end of this video. The best part is those techniques, they are best for learners of all English proficiency. And also, you don't necessarily have to be in an English environment. You don't have to study abroad, you don't have to do a working holiday, you can do it in Japan. It's totally up to you if you do it or not. I just hope this video helps you enjoy your language learning journey. I know it's such a long road and sometimes we get sick of it, but I think we should enjoy it. We should enjoy the process, and especially I believe learning a language is beautiful because the language skill is something that we kind of develop inside us, so nobody can steal from us. Money can't buy as well, so it's just simply cool. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if you've got any questions or comments, leave it down below. I would love to hear what you have to say. And if you want to improve your English, if you're interested in life overseas, you're more than welcome to subscribe to my channel as well. Alright, let's get right into it. Okay, let's talk about vocabulary first. As your vocabulary grows, speaking English feels much easier. Remember our student days. We tried so hard, we worked so hard to memorize all the words, like a bunch of words on the textbooks. However, despite being able to read or understand the meanings of words, we often find it difficult to use them in actual conversations. That's the challenge, isn't it? I think there are 2 main reasons for this. Number 1, the lack of connection between the words and their sounds. Number 2, we just memorize without incorporating them into our lives. What does it mean? Okay, I'm just gonna explain how to fix them. The first key is choosing the right vocabulary book. And I said book, not books. When it comes to vocabulary books, I think it's better to keep working on the one that you already have. If you really want to level up, step up, probably you can buy the one that suits your proficiency. You finish, you're comfortable with the one that you just finished and you can just step up. Personally, I was a huge fan of Z 会, 速読英単語 by Z 会. I was obsessed with them because that is a bit of story. Using those vocabulary, you can actually understand how, each words are used in a sentence. There were some tips down there as well, so I loved it. If you want to buy a new one, it's just my personal opinion, but I think Z 会, they are the best. Z 会 or Kickdown is not too bad as well. Those 2 are my top recommendation. It's totally up to you. Personally, I think it's more effective to go deeper into one book rather than just working on a couple of books at the same time. I'm just going to explain the reason a little bit later. Grab a book, and I recommend starting right away by listening to the pronunciation of each word at least 5 times. After you listen to the sound, don't forget to repeat after the model audio. I'm going to show you how to make the best of Google. If you type a word into Google, you can quickly find the meaning of each word and pronunciation, those like complicated symbols, that sort of thingy there. That is a little like button there. If you press it, you can listen to the audio. If you're using a book, I think it's got some sort of like CD or audio, so you can go online and you can listen to the audio. Don't forget to listen to the audio. It helps your pronunciation, like how you speak, how you say that word. But not only that, it makes it easier for you to recognize that word in an actual conversation. Here is another tip from me. For those who memorizing some words in Japanese sounds, please stop that right now. There is no benefits to it. For example, this is a screenshot from a textbook, vocabulary book, and it says, here's a word, about. In katakana, it says about. They sound similar, but they are not completely the same. The next one is they. they. If you memorize each word with katakana sound, as you can imagine, when someone says that word, you know that word, but in your head, it's stored in some sort of like a different way, so they can't match. It's bad for your pronunciation. Don't forget to listen to model audio and put that sound in your head. That saves a lot of time. Once you learn the meaning of a word, what I want to recommend is try to make at least 3 sentences for each word. You can use example sentences. Usually there is a word on left side and there is like an example sentence using that word. You can change a little bit. You can swap some words and stuff. If you want to make a sentence from scratch, you can use ChatGPT and they are so handy. Actually, when you make a sentence, you can ask ChatGPT, hey, is it grammatically correct? I actually do that very often recently. Not only about grammar, there are a couple of questions that you can ask. For example, does this word fit in this sentence? Are there better options? Are there any synonyms and something like that? Of course, you can memorize. I mean, it helps you memorize one word, but also you can learn other stuff, grammar skill and other words as well. So it's just too good to be true. Remember, when you make the word feel familiar or relevant to you, you remember it more. It makes your memorizing process much easier. The important thing is when you learn a word, just make it personalized to you. Let's talk about grammar. To be honest, I think most people have mastered it. And I know what you're thinking. What does it mean? I haven't mastered grammar. What I mean is, I think we have a decent amount of knowledge when it comes to grammar. I don't think there are like billions of grammar rules in this field. Vocabulary, yes, there are so many words and it takes so long to, master all the words. But when it comes to grammar, there are, quite a few. But once you learn it, depending on the situation, you fix a little bit and still people understand you, that sort of deal. We have got a decent amount of grammar knowledge, but the problem is we can't use it in actual conversations, right? That's the challenge, isn't it? This is where the difference between knowledge and being able to use grammar becomes apparent, like clearly. And what we want to focus on here is we want to be able to make meaningful sentences by swapping or adding to some extent. And here's again, ChatGPT comes in handy. For instance, let's work with the sentence structure as long as. It's the same thing that I talked about in vocabulary. First, try to create your own sentence and put them in ChatGPT and you can ask them, is it grammatically correct? For example, I made this sentence. As long as the flight tickets are cheap, we go to Japan every year. That's a dream, isn't it? And I said, is it grammatically correct at the end? You don't have to type everything in English. You can do that in Japanese. They reply in Japanese as well. They check the grammar for me and also they kind of broke down the structure of my sentence as well. And it's actually a game changer. Because learning grammar, it doesn't end there. What I'm saying is learning that knowledge doesn't do anything. You have to be able to use that knowledge and create a sentence that you want to use. Essentially, that's what you want to do in an actual conversation. Before you have an actual conversation, what you want to do is just get ready and to be able to use grammar skills. In the sense, you definitely should use ChatGPT because they are so handy because of the interaction when you're learning with a textbook. It's just like reading and checking the answer and something like that. But ChatGPT, it's more like interactive. I think it kind of helps you memorize more and also it gives you some sort of like motivation as well. So definitely to improve your grammar, I recommend using ChatGPT. Okay, lastly, let's talk about pronunciation. Now, I just wanted to tell you that pronunciation is not a talent. It's a skill that can be improved by practice. However, that is something that I want you to remember, and it actually applies to all aspects of learning English. If you want to improve your pronunciation, it's not only about how to move your mouth, where your tongue is supposed to be, that sort of stuff, but there are other aspects as well. You want to do a lot of listening, and then you have to understand the English sounds. You want to practice speaking, you want to reflect on how you speak as well. So it's a bit of everything, literally a bit of everything. And one of the first things that I recommend for pronunciation is definitely to do a lot of listening. I know it needs patience. I know some of you guys might be feeling, oh, I can't wait. I want to improve my pronunciation just straight away, but I think a lot of listening helps you in the long term, so I'm gonna explain the reason why anyway. What I want to recommend is, of course, it's important to listen to model audio, but also I want to recommend you guys to listen to other things, for example, YouTube videos, podcasts, TV shows, it can be anything, because by doing this, you can be familiar with the intonation and natural flow of English. I think it all comes down to experience. Like, the more you listen, the more you understand that sort of situation. I would say I spent at least like 1 hour on listening to English, like every single day, watching videos on YouTube, listening to podcasts or something like that. I made a video about YouTube channels and podcasts that I recommend, so if you're interested, I'm gonna put the links down below, so if you can, check them out after this video. A lot of listening is actually crucial, like it's essential for your pronunciation. Fix your pronunciation. I mean, just by listening, it doesn't do much, so you have to do other things as well. What I want to recommend is analyze how you speak. If you can't understand how you're speaking English, it's not gonna go anyway. I mean, you just keep your style forever. Here's a story. I hope you guys keep this between me and you. It's a secret story. I mean, it's not a secret, but a few days ago, I was making a video and I talked about how my personality changes when I speak English. When I was filming, I was like completely okay. I mean, I was comfortable with how I was speaking. The way I talked was so bogan, Australian bogan. Honestly, I don't want to talk about like Australian accents and stuff too much, because some people say, oh, you don't know about like Australian accents that much, but at least I've been in this country for a while. I sounded like this. Alrighty, we're gonna talk about personality today. It sounded so bogan. I sounded like one of the people waiting for the train at Shirleyman station, like after the footy game. I sounded like so aggressive, and I was just shocked. It's not like Australian accents is bad or anything, My point is, I was not aware how I was speaking in that video. When I checked how I was speaking, I was like, oh, this is how I speak. This actually applies to us speaking Japanese as well. We actually don't know how we speak Japanese. Like, we don't really pay attention to it. But when it comes to English, because we want to check, the pronunciation and intonation and something like that. So what I want to recommend is, I don't have a phone right here. What we can do is we can use our phone and film. It doesn't cost anything, and this is just important. We all have to do it. So when I started talking about pronunciation, I said it's important to listen to a lot, and we have to reflect on how we speak. So those two, they are actually a package, the whole package. I'm sure there is a hype about shadowing. I think shadowing gives you that package, because you do listen, you listen to the model audio, and you speak, and you have to realize the difference between the model audio and you. If you ask me, hey, do you think shadowing is effective? I would say yes, but not really, because shadowing actually doesn't give you a quick fix. I mean, what I'm saying is, it's not a magic solution. When you do shadowing, you have to listen carefully, and when you speak, you have to be able to understand the difference between English by native speakers and your English. So if you can't see the difference, your pronunciation is not going to go anywhere. If you're not a huge fan of shadowing, I want to recommend just do a lot of listening and reflect on how you speak using your camera or, recorder or whatever that is. Try to listen to how you speak, and if you can fix, just fix a little bit. That's the reason why I said it's a bit of everything. It's not like that is a magic fix and it's gonna fix your pronunciation. It's like a different skills and sort of stuff. Thank you for watching this video, guys. If you want to implement something that I talked about in this video, please let me know. If you found something that, oh, I can do this today, just let me know. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you've got any questions, comments, they are all welcome. Leave it down below. And again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you're more than welcome to as well. Alright, see you in the next video, guys.